After several months in quarantine, me and my friends finally met up to go on a day-long hiking trip out in Southern Bruce Peninsula. At Skinner's Bluff, 3 hours away from Toronto, this is what we saw.
Oh yeah, bring any dog to a regatta, that's it, like game over. Everyone's gonna touch him.
Dogs in him, and he almost got in a scrap with some other dog. They sniffed each other's butts and they were like, one of us dies now. Let us know how much.
This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. It's actually been around 2 weeks since that trip, and I thought it'd be a good time to actually just go through my experience just in case you guys were interested in going yourself. So Skinner's Bluff is located around 3 hours away from Toronto, or around 220 kilometers. The closest town is actually Owen Sound, which is about a half hour away from the trailhead. It's a good idea to use Owen Sound as a base of sorts for food and gas before going into the trail or coming out of the trail when you're going home. The trailhead itself is about 500 meters away from the parking lot, which was actually full by the time we got there at 10:30 in the morning. So I would recommend either you get there earlier to beat the crowds or get there later, because by the time we left, the whole parking lot was empty. So yeah, get there around like 2 p.m. if you're gonna wait it out, I guess. So there are two trails that split from the same trailhead. The first is about 500 meters or so from the parking lot to the caves, and the other is a hike along the bluffs for 10 to 11 kilometers. And this is part of the Bruce Trail. If you come to Skinner's Bluff, definitely go explore the caves. It was a lot of fun just exploring inside, just walking around. You don't get too many caves in Ontario, so definitely take your time when you're there. After that, we walked back to the trailhead and started our hike along the Bruce Trail. And for those who don't know, the Bruce Trail is actually a 900 kilometer footpath that starts in Niagara and goes all the way north up to Tobermory. And so the Skinner's Bluff portion is 10 to 11 kilometers of that trail. But we hiked a total of 22 kilometers because we had to go back out to the parking lot. So in total 22 kilometers, which took about 5 hours to do with very small breaks in between. The trail itself was pretty rough. There was a lot of roots and rocks on the way. You just gotta be very careful, but nothing really too hazardous. There were also these really thin fissures in the ground where you couldn't see the bottom of. That was a little strange. but it shouldn't be a problem. Surprisingly, the ground was spongy. It was a very strange experience, but good because it definitely helps absorb some of your steps, making it easier for you to walk. The trail itself is also entirely surrounded by trees, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So the good thing is that it definitely protects you from the heat. We went on a very hot day, and I don't think we would have survived without some of that shade. And then I guess the con of this is that all these trees surrounding you, it's very hard to tell how much progress you've made while you're hiking. So it's hard to tell whether you're near the beginning, how much further you've gone since maybe 5 minutes ago. So it felt like an endless amount of trees just along this trail. So the tree surrounded part of the trail is around 7 to 8 kilometers of the trail. The last few kilometers was actually kind of more open. There was a dirt road made for vehicles to get by, and at the very end is a very nice panoramic view of Georgian Bay. So we stayed there for a while, just taking in the views, taking photos before we headed back to the car. And for those of you who have dogs, the trail actually is dog friendly, just has to be on a leash. We didn't see too many other people on the Bruce Trail. We probably saw maybe 3 or 4 other groups. So if you like very sparsely trodden trails with no other people, this is a good one for you. I would say about 90% of the people were there for the caves in the parking lot, so definitely not a lot of people on the actual trail. After the hike, we made our way back to Owen Sound for gas and grub, and we actually spotted a Blockbuster there. So we stopped by for a few minutes just to take a few photos and look inside, and inside was nothing. There was no DVDs or games inside. It was just empty with the shelves still there, but the whole storefront was still intact from when it first closed, so that was very cool. Here's a quick rundown of some of the gear that I used. So after hiking so long, I definitely think I overpacked. I did not use my gimbal as much as I thought I would. I only used it for the caves and at the very end of the trail. And it's kind of heavy, so I wouldn't bring that unless I knew I was getting something very scenic or worth having the gimbal. I also only used the one lens, my 10 to 16 millimeter. And that was great for video, so I highly recommend it. Lugging all of the gear around definitely tires you out after a couple hours hiking, so I think I'm going to lose the gimbal and the lenses and only bring really what's essential. Well, that's about it. Thanks so much for watching to the end of this video. I have another video lined up for the time I went to Torrance Barrens Dark Sky Reserve, so that was really cool. And I'm currently planning a hike with some friends soon. Let me know in the comments what are some of your favorite hiking spots, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.